as a Dreamland special event. This is Whitley Strieber. What you're about to hear is possibly the most extraordinary single interview I've ever done. Bill Birnes and I just let loose. We both know a lot of things. We have a lot of secrets. Neither of us is getting any younger, and just frankly, we kind of let our hair down. So you're going to hear a lot of things in here. Those of you who have a full subscription probably hear things about, you might all hear it. I don't really know where any of this is because it was a kind of a hallucinatory experience for both of us to do this. We talk about the Dulce experiments and why a couple of Republican senators introduced a bill forbidding the creation of human-animal hybrids shortly after the airing of an edition of UFO Hunters. And why did UFO Hunters go off the air? And why was Alien Intent, my show, shown only as a pilot on the Biography channel at 11 o'clock on Christmas Eve morning? What are they trying to hide here? What is really going on? Well, okay, all I can say is this. Bill Birnes' website is ufomag.com. Go to ufomag.com. Subscribe to the magazine. It has always been the leading voice in the UFO community, and it is a much more important voice than it's given credit for just in the general community. If you're not a subscriber to it, you really don't know a lot about what is going on in this world that is far more important than you're going to see in the mainstream media and the mainstream magazines. In fact, that's why it's marginalized, because you're supposed to be disempowered. Well, empower yourself. What I want to do is I want to form this a little bit more. I want to ask you about UFO Hunters right now. I want to shift gears because you have created a revolution on TV with this and opened a lot of minds that were closed before with it, received the usual bullshit criticism, and done it all. So where are you now with this thing?
Well, when one of those people who I mentioned crossed our paths, this was after we had visited Dulce and the Dulce episode had aired. That's the one where Gabe Valdez, the former New Mexico State Trooper, showed the photographs of, and they were not photoshopped, they were not tampered, they were photographs, they were not digital, of this strange entity, this basic hybrid fetus of human and bovine and maybe something else inside the womb of a cow that had been mutilated and was being collected by some helicopter. The state troopers scared it off with their flashing lights. The helicopter went away, and they basically delivered this dead. They C-sectioned out this dead fetus. Well, there was a big fight at the History Channel over airing this thing. Now, remember, people think of networks as, oh, it's this network or that network. History Channel is owned by A&E, owned in part by Hearst and Capital Cities. ABC, right? ABC is owned by Capital Cities. That's owned by the Disney Company, okay, whose largest shareholder was the chairman of Apple. So, talk about the corporate hierarchy. Well, as you know, and people should know, the higher you get in the world of corporate decision making, corporate management, the higher you get, the more and more you fall under regulations from any senator or any government agency that wants to put a big foot on you. It's just that simple. You have to go before how many committees in Congress and how many federal agencies to get approval to do certain kinds of things, put certain products on the market. You're going to toe the line. Well, at a certain point, when people saw those photographs in some high places, especially the big pharmaceutical companies that are the sponsors of these companies. Now, just look at any History Channel episode. You'll see how many pharmaceutical companies are running ads. They freaked out. Get those idiots off the air. But we're under contract for a season. When the season is over, get them off the air. They've gone too far. It's one thing to go chasing after a UFO and go up and down Tickapoo Peak outside of Area 51. What fun. That's great. Yes, we captured some strange lights over Area 51. Great. So did Bob Lazar, so did John Lear, so did George. Everybody did. Go up there, you'll capture strange lights. You don't have to be a UFO hunter. They're there, okay? We don't know what they are, but they're there. But when you step on other toes, whether these are aliens, whether it's the military, whether it's big pharmaceuticals, whether it's some unholy alliance among them, I don't know. But when that show aired, it's the wrath of the network turned against us.
You know, okay? I had the same experience, but go ahead.
Yeah. Then, well, people are hooting about it. Oh, look what they did. Look at the hoax photos. These are the debunkers. They were a hoax, I can tell you. Then, Senators Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell, I want to say somebody else, but 3 major Republican senators get up and they say, and they offer a bill to make human-animal hybrid crossbreeding a federal crime. They want to offer a bill amending Title 18, which is the United States Penal Code, the Federal Penal Code, to make it a crime to interbreed species. Now, what was going on with that entity that we saw in the photographs? Now, if you read more stuff going on in Britain, you'll find out that the Brits are busy hybridizing humans and pigs because at a certain point, because the serum, the blood serums with pigs, with bovine, with humans are very similar. In fact, they culture eggs, human ovum, in bovine serum. It's so close that what are they creating? Are they creating the super soldier? Well, maybe. I mean, who's to say they're not? But how about what they want, Whitley, are the stem cells. The stem cells from creatures that can't be called human, but are so close to having human DNA that you can do things with creating organs for these creatures. So imagine that you could create, you're creating heart valves, you're creating a pancreas, you're creating a kidney, or implants therein. And you're talking about implants. You're really getting certain kinds of signals. Think about a kind of a race of human beings very gradually that will never die. And that's really
Project
what you're
Inner
talking
Iron,
about.
it's called.
Exactly. So we, basically see these photographs, basically scream to the network to air them. The network, our execs basically, acquiesce. Fine, we'll air the photographs. They put up their disclaimer, and the world crashes in on us. And that's one of the things that happened. The other thing, of course, was the fact that the show was simply too expensive for the network. I mean, we were running huge budgets. Our ratings were beating Jon Stewart's Daily Show. We were beating Housewives of New Jersey. Our sponsors were better than those shows.
Yeah.
So the network was making its money. But as the economy began to retrench, and you could see the economy retrenching in 2000, you could actually see it retrenching. You could see this thing happening all around you. Well, as it was happening, the network was really pulling in its heels. I'm sure sponsors wanted to get more for their buck than they were getting. And quite frankly, what they did was they took a lot of the material that we developed. Ancient Astronauts was one story that we developed. They took Space Wars was another story we developed. They took that and they farmed it out to other production companies. I mean, it was theirs. It's not when you're working for an entity like the Disney Company and A&E and the History Channel. Really, they own it, as you know. And
yes,
so they took some of the UFO stuff, they watered it down. They really diluted it and then farmed it out to other companies as episodes for other shows like Mystery Quest and Monster Quest and things like that. As far as we were concerned, you will not hear the new series UFO on that channel because they felt they were so burned by the problem of UFO investigations and research and things like that is that unlike investigating a werewolf or investigating a vampire, okay, unlike those, which everybody loves. You love a good werewolf story. You love a good vampire story, as you know, right?
Yes,
but
I've noticed.
Unlike those, yeah, you've noticed that, haven't you? But as you also know, when you investigate UFO stories, you come across a bigger inconvenient truth. And we became a very inconvenient truth for the network.